Welcome to the video 6 of Murano series. Synthesis of properties for substance learned from Plato. I have a date. I am upset. Others are unaware of the state of my emotional state, the brain energy waves inside. However, it can be expressed through facial expressions and surrounding objects, using sound and light waves through the space. If you have to hide your emotions, by mobilizing the energy of your inner will to select and achieve a specific inner state among the mental energy states in superposition, you will show a different uncertainty than others predict with general probability. In Deleuze's connection of rhizome units or rhizome points, like in quantum mechanics, I would like to point out the similarity between the multiplicity of events and the superimposed possible states of waves, consciousness or matter. Moving on from the previous video, understanding the unique overlapping state between every electron and nucleus in the hydrogen molecule can predict or understand its choices as it enters into more complex relationships with other molecules. Therefore, it will be helpful to first look at the common and fundamental wave states between different elements and their relationship to energy waves. If you confine the wave nature in a specific space and increase the particle nature to start synthesis of forces and energy vectors, not everything imaginable is possible in this inner world. It is said to be quantized, and the energy mass is called a quantum, a term used by Hegel. Of course, Hegel did not know about the quantum mechanics. Now let's continue our discussion of quantized waves that exist in three-dimensional space around quant energy, independent from time flow. Among those waves, the energy state that the electron wave has a high probability of choosing is the ball-like wave state. Let's add more energy between these negatively charged electrons and positively charged protons. Since light is a wave in which electric charges, plus, fluctuate, it is easy to interact with matter, which is a collection of negative and positive charges. Scientists say that the proton's force field traps negative electron waves, but they cannot exist where electron wants in the surrounding space, but they do exist according to certain rules in mutual relationship. First, since it can only exist at a certain distance from the nucleus, it forms a spherical shell and must absorb or emit energy waves to move from one shell to another. Further, only certain types of energy waves can be absorbed or emitted according to quantum selection rules. When an energy wave is absorbed, it exists by forming a new energy wave, like an interference fringe, just as two waves merge. Due to the absorbed energy, the electron wave in the shell near the powerful nucleus below turns into a wave in the upper shell. The quantum explanation is that you don't even go to space between the two shells, but move directly to the higher energy shell. In addition, when energy differences occur in the same shell, waves of different shapes are created and exist. In this way, there is an essential condition for the transition to occur through the connection of light and electrons to cause a change of state. Resonance of light ABSR option occurs when the frequency and wavelength of the waves are just right for proper constructive interference for light and electrons, which are partly called particles, to interact. Simply because two energy waves are in vicinity, they cannot be unconditionally connected. Now, let's compare hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Like DNA for living things, the intrinsic difference between different atoms is the number of protons. In other words, it is the nucleus with several positive proton particles that attract negative electrons and the resulting attractive force that determines the properties and identity of atoms such as hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. Hydrogen has 1 proton, carbon has 6, and oxygen has 8. Thus, oxygen is the most attractive and stabilizing electron the best. Balance of forces, plus and negative. A hydrogen atom with one electron is neutral. And, when two hydrogen nuclei of two positive charges come together, the electron will most likely choose to connect between the two superposition states, as discussed in the previous video. So there will be a slight excess electron probability in the middle of the hydrogen molecule. It makes the middle part of the hydrogen body slightly negative and the peripheral part of the body slightly positive. It is the positive charge power that leaks from the nuclei. However, the overall charge of molecular sieve is neutral. Meanwhile, oxygen has 8+ charge nuclei and it will be neutral with 8 electrons, since each electron has 1 charge. Thus, oxygen is making one of the most robust bonding with electrons because of the attractive power from 8 positive nuclei. Even electrons in hydrogen atom and more stable hydrogen molecules will choose to form a bond with oxygen over other atoms. All electrons and protons combined with the oxygen nucleus can lower its internal potential energy to generate water molecule. This is why they light up when trying to connect. Consider how Plato could explain when two different airs, gases, form fire to produce water. Under the incredible circumstances that 3 of his 5 basic elements are balanced and interchangeable. In a more fundamental concept, he used concepts such as lines and triangles to create all elements and further demonstrate the synthesis of their properties. Thus, modern chemistry owes a great deal to his ideas for explaining the properties of matter. As previously discussed, when two hydrogen atoms are bound with an equal number of electrons, the electrons in the mostly middle are equally attracted by the positive power equally. Therefore, due to the better potential energy in the middle, electron wave is slightly dispersed more in the middle and the molecule will have almost no positive or negative. That's why hydrogen molecules do not attract each other, act like gas, unless the motion energy is removed at extremely low temperature. However, when the two hydrogen atoms are combined with oxygen, that is, when the properties of the two gases are combined, not only quantitative but also qualitative changes occur, so the water molecule does not become a gaseous compound. The two hydrogen and oxygen electrons in the water molecule will form a wave with the highest particulate probability near the oxygen, as mentioned earlier, due to the favorable low potential energy. The hydrogen then loses electrons to oxygen. Therefore, due to the imbalance of positive, plus, and negative, charge forces, hydrogen has a positive, plus, charge equal to the number of smaller electron amount, and oxygen has a negative, charge equal to that quantity. This makes positively charged hydrogen of water be able to attract negative. And there, the oxygen of the water gained more electron wave from hydrogen, thus it is negative. Thus, water is born as a liquid, at room temperature, by using these partial charges from the imbalance of positive and negative charge energies inside to create a network of numerous water molecules that attract each other. It gets created from gaseous raw materials. After all, compared to H2O, carbon dioxide, CO2, is a complex plus or minus molecule with 2 strong oxygen nuclei, 1 weak carbon nucleus, and a number of electrons to maintain a neutral balance. It is made of gas, oxygen, and solid from soil, carbon. But CO2 stays as gas in room temperature. In the next installment, we'll explore more of the larger organic-inorganic substances and memory to get closer to our understanding of brain activity. Thank you for watching.